The next show is planned for April 9th, 2022. It's about 29 weeks to bring something really special to the stage. I'm very confident that that's going to happen. All right, people, welcome back to another episode of Operation 2022. This video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go over some footage that I took of my clients at the CPA Cobourg Naturals, which took place this past weekend. So I'm recording this on Thursday, October 14th. The show was Saturday, October 9th. So just a quick rundown on the show. Very, very well done. John, the promoter, does an amazing job at both the Cobourg show and the Legends Cup. So he ran both shows on this day, Legends Cup in the morning, Cobourg in the afternoon. And, I can't say enough positive about, John and the CPA as a whole for running these events. I know, times are tough right now with, coordinating things and programming and scheduling and all that kind of stuff. But, they made it happen. Unfortunately, no audience, but they very much made it work for what it was. I was happy to see, the backdrop was a little bit different. Last year, they kind of had just, a plain black backdrop with some Cobourg lettering, which for what it did the trick. But I kind of like what they've done this time around, and the lighting setup was really good. The stage was awesome, and they have the judges in front, and like I said, unfortunately no audience, but it worked, and it did a good job. And for my clients that competed, I know they had a great time, and for most of them it was their first time, so it was a very good first time outing for these guys. So let's go into some footage that you're seeing. So you just saw my client Justin. He's here right now giving his posing routine. So within the CPA, they have 3 opportunities to be on stage. They have their 30-second presentation. For bodybuilding anyways, they get 30 seconds, which they come out on stage to center stage. They have a 30-second free posing, and that's for them to do whatever they want. Then they have, obviously, the comparisons for the class, which they'll take them through quarter turns and all the mandatory poses. And then, obviously, what you're seeing here is Justin's posing routine that we worked on, and was really happy. Was really happy with the look Justin brought to stage. Obviously, as a first-timer, expectations, remain, I don't want to say minimal across the board, but you go in there with an open mind and an understanding that this is the first time being on stage, and the look is obviously going to reflect that. For Justin, I was very, very happy with the conditioning that we brought. He brought a very, very good package to stage. His upper body was in great shape. And then obviously, his physique, we just need, more muscle across the board, and specifically his lower body, which is what we're going to focus on in the off season, and focus on improving that for when he does compete again. Yeah, you're looking here at my client Marley. So Marley is just a young guy. He's 21 years old. He's competed a couple times before. The first time working with me was this show here. And, you're looking at his physique, plenty of potential for being how young that he is. His potential within the sport is very, very, very much there. And I'm excited to continue working with him for a couple more shows this year, and then hopefully transition to the off season and look to improve upon the physique that he's got now. With regards to what he brought to the stage for the first show of the season, I was happy. His conditioning was good, definitely not 100% where I want him to be, but thankfully we have more shows this season that we can look to achieve that. But from a muscularity perspective, a very good balanced physique. I don't think there's any muscle groups that are overpowering one another, or really any areas that are severely lacking, right? He's young. And compared to what I looked like at 21, it's a very similar spot where it's just young muscle that, over time will improve and continue to get better, and just improve as an athlete, right? This is his posing routine here that you guys are seeing on screen, which I loved. I really think he did a good job. Posing is definitely a strong point of his. He's got a good flow to him, and I remember him saying at the show that he used to do gymnastics, which definitely shows in his fluidity on stage. Here you're seeing Sean. So this was Sean's 3rd show of the season. He competed twice prior to this, at the CPA Stephanie Worsfold Classic in August, and then the Ottawa Naturals in September, and then obviously Cobourg here in October. So we had a nice little string of shows. our original plan was to just do Cobourg, but he ended up getting in very good shape really early. So, which is obviously a testament to how hard he pushed himself and how much he really challenged himself this prep, that we were able to get ready, almost 8 weeks ahead of time. But yeah, so across the 3 shows, he brought a better physique each time, which was awesome. So the first show, I think he competed around 152 pounds, which was the lowest we saw, and then we tightened up a little bit, kind of around the 150s for the second show, and then we dipped into the 140s for this show here, which showed in his lower body. His upper body was very, very shredded, but his lower body definitely had room to come in, and over the course of the 3 shows, we definitely saw that improvement. For Sean, looking at his physique, he hasn't been doing this a whole long time, outside of us working together the last 10 to 12 months. His training and bodybuilding itself, wasn't necessarily there. So I think for him moving forward, just consistency and sticking toward the goal of improving as a bodybuilder, and his physique will reflect that. For someone his age, he looks incredible, and I think sometimes he forgets that. So Sean, if you're listening to this, you look great, my man. Give yourself some credit. But with that, comparing him here in the lineup to Justin and the other young fella there, it obviously there's some discrepancy between the physiques, which reflects in their age. But when it comes to conditioning, I think Sean and Justin both had the young fella beat, definitely in the upper body, maybe not in the lower body, but in the upper body for sure. But obviously, from a shape perspective, there's areas that need work. From muscular development, there's areas that need work, which we're going to work on. So for Sean, his lower body is definitely primary. Just building tissue basically from the waist down, his glutes, his quads, his hamstrings, his calves, and just really getting that up to par with his upper body. From a muscular development, his upper body is definitely good. I don't think that there's glaring weaknesses. If I was to really pick things apart, definitely some more density on his back and maybe some thickness in his chest. But across his poses, his arms look good, his shoulders look good. Even in his poses, his back looks good, but it definitely can come up, which is the goal, right? And that's what bodybuilding is. It's continued progress of building your physique, and just getting better. And then, of course, posing wise, there's obviously areas that can improve. But again, that's something that will continue throughout your bodybuilding career. I was actually talking to a client about this yesterday, that I'm going into like 9 or 10 shows now, and my posing continues to get better. Years later, right? I competed in 2015. We're going into 2022 now, right? So, for people that get too hard on themselves with posing at the very beginning, I assure you that it does get better, and you will only continue and improve as an athlete. What you're seeing on here is the overall. So Marley in the bantamweight, and then this young guy here in the lightweight come into the overall. So looking at these two physiques, right from the get-go, I was quite confident Marley was going to take this, just because from a shape and muscularity perspective, he definitely had the other guy edged out. Conditioning-wise, the lower body, you can see from the back that Marley's hamstrings, glutes, and stuff aren't quite as tight as the other guys, which is obviously something we're going to remedy for his later shows. But right here in the back double bicep, you can just see Marley's overpowering him from a muscularity perspective, and shape-wise, he's got a really good physique. Good wide shoulders down to that small waist, and then his legs flare out to the side. So that's where Marley definitely took this. But it was good to see, Marley up there really enjoying himself. Really, he brought a physique to the stage he was proud of, which was obviously very much rewarding for me. And you'll see in a second here just his reaction. Spoiler alert, when they call him the winner of the Cobourg overall. And, thankfully, John let me come up on stage and present his award to him and, pass the torch, as it were. Because it's what I won in 2019. So it was a really cool feeling to, be able to give Marley that trophy and just see his face and, the happiness, just pure joy. That's all it was. It was pure joy on his face. And, you'll see here on screen. It's funny that the announcer there drew it out. They must have had two very similar numbers because he goes 1-0 and then dramatic pause and then calls the number, and right there you can see the just emotion, right? And that's something that is a culmination of a lot of hard work, coming together for that one singular moment, and it was really awesome to see. Here we've got my client Dylan. This was Dylan's first show working with me, but he's competed prior to this, and you can see by his trunks competed in classic physique in comparison to open bodybuilding. And Dylan, we had a relatively short amount of time to get in the shape I was hoping we were going to get in, but to my surprise, we really did a good job this prep. Dylan really, he worked hard, and it showed. He really brought a physique that in the time frame that we had, I was really happy with, and we're only going to improve as we look to compete again near the end of November. Here he is in the lineup for his height/weight class, and you can see the two gentlemen in the middle there. From a size and conditioning perspective, obviously they were a bit ahead of him. He got moved in here, which was exciting because it looked like he had third, but you'll see once they go through the turns and stuff that they move him into fourth. And I think it was purely out of conditioning, if I'm looking at things honestly. The young guy there was with Marley in the overall, so you already know that his conditioning was quite good, specifically in glutes and lower body and stuff, which is where I look to improve Dylan for his next show. But I think had Dylan have been tighter, he could definitely have squeaked that third spot. The first and second guys were definitely first and second throughout the whole comparison round. They just, simply put, they had better physiques, which is the name of the game, right? There's always going to be people that are better or worse than others, but all we can do is bring the best that we can. And for Dylan on this day, I think we did that considering the time frame that we had, and we look to, like I said, improve that for his next show, the King Kong Classic at the end of November. So you see there he got moved to the outside. Shape-wise on Dylan is great. That's the one thing for him that I think is in his favor. With he's got really good thick legs that when we bring them in even more conditioning-wise, they're going to continue to pop on stage. His side chest is my favorite shot on him by far. He's got really wide delts. He's got a good V taper from the top down to his waist, and then into those legs. You can see even from the back, his legs are thick. There's a good chunk of muscle on there, but we just need the muscle to be in a little bit more. We need him a bit leaner. And then from the back, his upper back, that's where, when it looks to making improvements in the off season, I think just adding tissue, across his upper back, down through his lower back, I would definitely program, some sort of deadlift and stuff in there for him, and, look to really just build up density through his physique. Ab and thigh, good shot on him. His abs were good, and his quads really complete that shot nicely. And then here they finish with a classic pose of choice. You can see a lot of people hitting just that single arm bicep. I like that Dylan did a different pose from this, which we worked on in the morning. Just sets him apart on stage, right? Here we have Telly, who competed for the first time at this show, across the figure category, both in novice, masters, and open. So, Telly, incredible work from a first-timer. I was really happy with the physique we brought to stage, and we talked yesterday about the goals moving forward and what exactly we want to work on, but I can't say anything more positive about the experience it was working with her and coaching her. Carly here did both figure and bikini. Unfortunately, just because of the hectic night, I didn't get any footage of her in bikini, but we got her here on stage in the figure category, which I think is probably what I'd recommend we pursue moving forward. But another athlete that I cannot say enough more positive about. This was our second show. We did a show in September, and then brought it together for Cobourg Naturals here. So this is them on stage together, which was cool. They got to share this experience together. It was a very cool moment to see the team really enjoying themselves. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. We're getting ready to close up the footage here. So I know this is obviously a different video, just talking about the show and the athletes that I coach for this. The next one is coming up quick, and I've got another group that will be competing in just a few weeks' time. So thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know. If you have any feedback, obviously let us know, and we'll see you guys in the next one.